What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another week here in Body Bags. This is week 131. I'm the Tuesday reviewer, the retro slasher. So for this week, in week 131, I decided to go back and revisit a film from the year 2000, the year 2007. It's a remake of a film from the year 1997, which came out in the country Austria. So of course this means this is American remake for us, the American audience. In case you have a hard time reading subtitles and you don't speak German, this film will cater to you, I suppose. And it goes by the title of Funny Games. Now Funny Games is one of these films that you see quite often mentioned and brought up in most disturbing films of all time lists and whatnot. Whether or not if I find it disturbing, I'm sure I'm going to get to towards the end of this video. But until then, as we always do first, guys, let's hop into this plot. So go back to the trusty reading off the back here because I actually like this one. It's pretty well written, if I could damn talk. So at their lakeside vacation home, Anne and George and their son have unexpected visitors from two well-spoken, well-bred young men wearing polite smiles and preppy sportswear. The visitors want to play a game. You bet you'll be alive tomorrow at 9 a.m., and we bet that you will be dead. Okay? So that's the plot of this thing. Essentially, a home invasion film. Two young guys arrive at this family's home. They want to play a game with them, and they slowly start to fuck with them and make them do and some fucked up things to each other and whatnot. So that's the plot of this thing. Now, let's get into this film and my thoughts. Basically, this is a shot-for-shot remake of the original, which sometimes doesn't always work. Actually, really never works when you make a shot-for-shot remake of a film. But in this case, I actually find that it works pretty well. It might have to do with the casting and the acting in this film. This film has a really, really solid cast. It has Naomi Watts. She's just beautiful and a really, really solid actress. You got Tim Roth, he plays George, the dad. You got Michael Pitt and Bradley Corbett's his name. They play the home invaders. Michael Pitt is more of the main antagonist. He's kind of the leader of the two. He does a really, really good job. Just the way he comes off, he's preppy and like a douchebag type guy. You know what I'm saying? But just the way he delivers his lines is so cold. You know what I'm saying? Really, really well acting. Now it's to the cinematography and the music in this film. Beautiful shots, and the first 5 minutes of this film, or a little less than that actually, it's the same exact opening of Candyman, the first one, the sky view of them driving on a highway. For some reason, that's one of my favorite scenes in Candyman, so it works pretty well. I wonder if the director was influenced by Candyman using that shot or whatnot. That's just a really good shot. And the music is really well. It's a lot of classical, like orchestra type music. Then there's sometimes mixed in with a little, I don't know what kind of music you call it, but it's like that really screamo rock, that kind of shit that like the neo Nazis listen to, that kind of shit. But really good music in this film. I really enjoyed it. Now, as to the plot and the story, it's pretty generic and standard home invasion type shit. But it works for me. It works for me. I really, really enjoy the plot of this. It's more of a psychological type thriller film. That the way they fuck with the family, it's more psychological. Like I said, they just don't do anything too extremely fucked up to them. Like they don't rape them or anything like that. They just fuck with them mentally. It's really, really, really well done though. Like I like how it comes off in the film. As to certain parts of this film, there's one scene in this film that, and it's in the original too, and they chose to bring it back for it in the remake, which I'm not a fan of. It kind of throws you out of the mood. It's so unrealistic type moment in the film. It's not believable, and nothing like that would ever happen in real life. For something like this that's supposed to be real, this is like real stuff. This thing happens all the time, but then they added something like that. If you've seen this film before, you definitely know what scene I'm talking about. It's just stupid and corny, and I don't really care for that moment of the film. But otherwise, the rest of the film I really, really enjoy. It's really, really, really solid film. I really enjoyed the original film. I like the remake too. They're pretty much the same exact film, just different actors and different language they speak, which is fine by me. I don't really have a problem with it. Yeah. So if I would, oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Now, whether or not I really find this movie disturbing, I really do find this movie pretty disturbing. Home invasion, something that happens in real life, and it's pretty scary. Um, but just the situations where you have no control, somebody else is in power of you, telling you what to do. I always find that really fucked up and disturbing. It's like taking away your freedom of choice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's pretty disturbing to me. It's definitely not the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. Far from it, but I do find it pretty disturbing. Now, if I would recommend this film or not, yeah, I would definitely recommend this film. I suggest that you check it out. If you're a big fan of like disturbing films or fucked up movies, I'd say this film's for you. But of course, if you like those type of films, you've probably seen this one by now. But in chance you haven't, I say check it out. Definitely watch the original first. It just has that '90s feel, and it's really good. Yeah, but the remake's good too. In case you don't like reading subtitles or don't speak German. But if I had to rate this film, I'd definitely give it a 7.5 out of 10. Man, it's a really solid film, well made, beautifully shot, great music, well acted. Yeah, great, pretty decent story. It's one of the best home invasion films I've ever seen. Home invasion is one of those subgenres where there's a lot of duds, and this is honestly maybe one of the best home invasion films of them all. So that being said, this film's definitely give it 7.5. Check it out in case you haven't. I'm the Retro Slasher. I'm signing off this week. I will be back next week with something new. Later, guys.